Well, she said she wanted to get to the next speaker. Let's do it. Let's not keep Ms. Thomas waiting. Let me tell you a story about American excellence. If you are of roughly my age, I was about 10 years old, and I watched the Olympics a lot, and I watched track and field a lot because it was really cool to watch people, run and jump and do all those cool things. And there was an American man who, first, when the 4-minute mile was broken, it was a very big deal. A lot of people thought, we'll never do that. And then it went from 3:59, 57, 56, and 3:51.1, I want to say, the magnificent Jim Ryan of the United States of America. Yeah, I'll throw him some love. You'll be glad you did in a minute. He has family in the house. And just follow me, I'll tell you where I'm going here. And then Jim Ryan, after running in that way, ran in another way, ran for Congress and won and served from the great state of Kansas for 10 years in Congress. The sons that he had, twin sons, those apples did not fall far from the tree. It is a pleasure to welcome one of his sons who has started a magnificent group called American Majority. They are about, absolutely, it just sounds good, doesn't it? American Majority. And they are about nothing less than finding and training and advising candidates to go out and do the exact stuff that we're all talking about. So, to share how that's all going, what a pleasure to welcome one of Jim's sons, the great Drew Ryan.
Very much. You bet. Mark, thank you. It is indeed a pleasure to be the son of a great father. He is a great man in private as well as in public. Had a great career in Congress. One of the best things I think that I ever saw was to see the stands that he took, where he stood up to the establishment and to leadership and said, you know what, that's a really bad piece of legislation that will affect my constituents in the wrong way. I am not voting for it. And in a sense, he became a little bit of a pariah among Republican Party ranks, and yet was ranked the most conservative member in the United States House of Representatives in 2006. So it is a privilege to be his son in more ways than one. But I want to share a story with you. And it was about two Republican Party operatives, both of whom happened to be addicted golfers. And when we would go out into the field and do trainings, my buddy Martin and I would show up at the crack of dawn at a local golf course. And there was a conversation that took place January of 2004. And I turned to Martin and I said, wouldn't it be something if we, the conservatives, not the Republican Party, but we as conservatives actually organized in a practical way? They would fear us. I'm telling you right now, this is the beginning of something great, the Tea Party movement, because you guys are moving past protesting and into action. And I don't know if any of you saw the Wall Street Journal today, but it was all about how the establishment fears you and fears when Joe Miller and guys like him win their primaries. Another buddy of mine were on the phone today, and you know what he said to me? He's like, this is fantastic. He's like, you know why? I said, why? He's like, because fear is good. And we are driving the debate, but I want to share something else with you. And Katrina already shared it earlier. The fight really begins on November 3rd. When we win, as conservatives, and there's a difference between the conservatives and the Republican Party, as you're well aware of. When we as conservatives win and send a new echelon, a new cadre of men and women into the United States House and the United States Senate, we're going to have to come alongside them. We're going to have to encourage them to continue to do the things they promised they would do on the campaign trail. We're going to have to rebuke them when they get off the trails. And yet, you know what? We're also going to have to come alongside and say, congratulations, you're doing the right things. You, as the Tea Party movement, we as conservatives have to stay engaged in this process. And it's something that my twin brother Ned and I love doing. And that is identifying and bringing in new people into elective office. That's what we do with American Majority, AmericanMajority.org. We go out, we identify, and we train new candidates. And we bring them in at the most local components, school board, city council, county commission. It's kind of what Ken Emanuelson was talking about earlier. We get lost to some extent, and it's a good place to get lost, is in the federal races. But when you look at the most local components of government and how they affect your lives, I want to challenge you with this. For some of you sitting out there right now, this could be your time to step up in the next local municipal election and run for school board, run for city council, run for county commission. Because when good people like you, the salt of the earth conservatives, engage in the process, more than just showing up and protesting is good, but taking action is necessary. When you show up in practical ways, when you become block walkers, when you get out and you get your friends out the door to vote, when you put your name on the ballot and actually run, that's when we're going to see the change take place in this country that has to happen. I want to encourage you. Great things are happening out there right now, not just here in Texas, but across the nation. We have field staff all over the states, and the reports that we get constantly are, you're not believing the passion and the energy. I'm telling you right now, for every one of you sitting in this room, there are dozens more across this nation who are just as fired up, ready to go. I want to encourage you, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. But you have to stay engaged. I want to encourage you one last time. The real battle begins on November 3rd. And as long as we stick together, as long as we let them know in Washington, D.C., we're watching, and I want to encourage you, make your presence known in Washington, D.C., make your presence known in local offices. Let them know that you are there to encourage them, you're there to watch them, and we're going to turn this country around. God bless you. Thanks for coming out tonight.